What are we even watching?
Goonernomicon, Grummz, part 1. So, okay. So apparently everyone has their panties in a twist. Everyone has their panties in a twist about this guy, but some of it I've heard is like not news so far. I don't think it's new, but we'll see.
One of the leading thought lords of the reactionary right wing is more of a freak than
oh my god.
you, I, we, anyone could actually imagine. This all comes with receipts. This is all grounded in fact.
He's a freak, boys.
This is all quite legally safe for me to talk about. This is all public record. I'm getting this out of the way quickly because I know the person I'm going to be talking about is the kind of person to scream that he's being doxxed, cancelled, and threaten lawyers. This all started from an historic data breach.
Okay. Hilariously enough, that's exactly what he did straight away. When he saw this video, the guy that this video is about said, "I'm being doxxed and I'm suing."
Isn't actually like quite a safe way to get into this, but when I corroborated it with other sources, I found out that this was just sitting out in the open for anyone to find who knew exactly where to look for a name, a registered company. And then you start pulling on a string and pulling on another string and another string, and you find out that this goes deeper than you would think. Don't worry, Mark. I'm not going to show any more than I have to. You and your family will not be identified. This is not doxing in a meaningful sense that you're going to talk about. This.
I thought he gave out his public name because he tells everyone he used to work at Blizzard. I thought he gave out some basic information, but I'm not 100% sure actually.
This is just you and me having a conversation. Everyone else is along for the ride. By the way, don't reuse passwords for shit like this, especially if you're trying to make two separate personas with different names that you're gonna LARP as for 20 plus years. If you're a 40-year-old man at the time and 60-plus-year-old now, you've done that.
Wait.
I can establish that.
He's like 60? What the fuck? My chair's okay, a bit crunchy though. I think I need to tighten the bolts more.
But don't. That's an advice for anyone else looking to start up a separate online persona in the future. Use a completely separate email with a completely separate password. It might actually prevent this. Don't use the same lawyers either, actually. The same lawyers to register your company. There's so many steps that this guy has failed at to protect himself, and it's just all come unraveled with publicly accessible information. Also, don't use your real name to register these emails. Your real name's out there on this historical Who Is information. When you update this information, it doesn't go away. It's there, it's stored. The internet never forgets is the phrase I summarize up a lot. The internet never forgets. The internet will never let go. The internet remembers.
This is exactly the same thing that people go to blame when women's nudes get leaked. Well, it's your fault they got leaked because you took them. It's the same thing. The internet won't just remember your nudes. So the internet will remember everything you've ever done, even if you don't want it to.
Everything that you have done, everything that you have purchased, everything that you have registered, somewhere deep down until that drive stops spinning, the internet will know, and now we have found it. Some of this, like, disgusting onanist defenders are going to immediately reject the video based on how many subscribers and followers I have, and I don't care. I am a podcaster. I have a normal job. Consider getting one of those before you start trying to swing at me. Most of you are on Twitter for 15 hours a day arguing over whether Yasuke is too woke. Statistically, you don't know me. I know this, you know this, we know this. By the time this finishes, you're going to know me, and that's fine. It's nice to meet you. My name's MLYP. Pause the video, grab a drink. We're going to be here for a while. I want you walking away from this video.
Give us the tea! Give us the tea!
Use the idea that there is a 60-year-old man out there who has a maid outfit wearing VTuber as his public-facing persona, who abuses his parents' goodwill to front up LLC companies so that he can avoid California taxation law, while also trying to drive gamer culture further to the right because he thinks things are just a little too woke for him these days, and his little 60-year-old brain can't handle it. There's a reason I'm showing my face on camera today. There's a reason that I'm not hiding behind an avatar like I normally do. I am better than him. This is just one of the ways. I'm better than him in every way that fucking matters, to be honest, like on a moral level, on a conceptual level, on a how I earn my money level. I am better than this man, and I don't care that you think otherwise. I know this in my belief system and his. I am better. I am going to keep saying that this is very findable information. I am going to keep saying that this is all legally accessible information.
Okay, that's cool and all, but I don't really care who this guy is. I want to know the information The info. Give me the info.
This is not being doxxed. This is not being cancelled. I'm going to address that again and again just to hammer the point home, because the target of this video is going to come with lawyers, or this target of this video is going to come and try and whip up a screaming mob that he's been cancelled and send a harassment campaign my way and other people's way. This is part of what
I would say he crazy, but that is exactly what happened.
he does. None of this is secret information that you are legally allowed privacy over. This is part of public California state record. I will not be revealing addresses. I will not be revealing full emails. I can assure you they match, Mark. You are just going to have to trust me. You know it, I know it, and everyone else will know it. The fact that you're out there deleting things rapidly when you got a hint that people knew about this kind of proves that it's you. And that's what actually matters deep down. In your bones, you know what's about to come out. These same emails that I'm referring to that were in that data breach earlier have been publicly posted by you in multiple places across multiple whois records. That's a key and public-facing part of internet structure. That is not doxing. That is all right here when you check DNS and whois records. That will never go away. That is part of what you have put out into the internet.
I will have to say that a lot of people say everything is doxing, but if you publicly release information on the internet, it's not quite doxing, especially if you've connected it to your accounts yourself. It's kind of just, you know, putting two and two together.
Your name into a specific search engine,
I don't know.
You can see exactly what websites you're registered, going all the way back to about 1996. There is very public LLC information with your family's name, and I'll get to why it's your family's name and not yours on these LLCs in due time. I haven't stolen any private information. I have not illegally accessed any information. This is a case of finding one little string of public information you have left out, and now the whole fucking house of cards is coming down on you. You are welcome to scream it's doxing. I will say this once again. This is publicly accessible information that you have posted on the internet and have left it out there for me to talk about. I'm leaning in to make a point because I want you odious little goblin of a man, to really beat this into your thick skull. This is the digital equivalent of a phone book. This is the digital equivalent of me picking up the Yellow Pages, which you are old enough to distinctly remember. I know that you're 60 plus years old, and noticing that two separate people have the exact same phone number and going, wonder
come on,
asking around and realizing that those two people are
I kind of want to know why he had such a grudge against him too, because this seems very personal.
I really want you to understand that we know. You've gone around to try and delete everything. You are rapidly deleting every public piece of this persona. It's been archived. We've got it saved. You're good. This video will be going up in places other than YouTube. I am under no illusions that you're not going to try and get this taken down through some kind of spurious DMCA claim or something similar. The internet will never forget. It will be elsewhere. It will be publicly disseminated. People will know. I've also consulted with a lawyer. We're good. We're in the clear, legally. Why don't I just get to the point instead of being cryptic?
Honestly, yeah, okay. Even if which some of the information I know is probably true just because it's been brought up before, some of this, but the ranting at the beginning is not leading to his credibility, honestly, unfortunately. Even if you don't like Grummz, like, I feel like I know he really is one to point into the point that what he's doing and he has researched it, but I feel like he's making it seem like it's very personal and that discredits him some, you know what I mean?
Now I have to sit back because Mark Kern, aka Grummz, has been coasting on the success of his one or two actual highlights of his career. The rest is a sad tale of an old man desperately clinging to relevance. He's worked as an associate producer on StarCraft, the producer on Diablo 2, and was a team lead in World of Warcraft. I'm not going to dispute or deny the fact that he worked on these titles. That's documented. He's in the credits. I find it fascinating that he's barely ever mentioned by former co-workers in a positive light, and that's fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating to think about. Since leaving Blizzard, he has been coasting on that success and to build clout in the reactionary online space, joining Gamergate 1 before leaving because he was too transphobic at the time. He continued coasting.
Wait, he was a part of Gamergate? And he was too much for Gamergate? The Gamergate, where they threatened to throw acid at people. He was too much for that. What? That's insane.
And use the petition to bring classic WoW back and use that to leverage it into even more clout. That's another one of his big career highlights. He organizes harassment campaigns against developers that he thinks are doing things a little too wokely, and by a little too wokely, I mean doing it while being too much of a woman or being maybe too brown for his tastes. I keep saying he's coasting, and he's fucking coasting. Our boy Mark Edward Kern has been nothing but a failure since leaving Blizzard Entertainment in 2005, reduced to tweeting 100 times a day that Assassin's Creed Shadows is too woke because they've taken a historical figure and embellished certain portions of their life in a game that's never been about historical accuracy to begin with. He keeps saying that he's winning the war on the woke mind virus, and this is the year that we will actually defeat wokeness in video games. All the while, he's just beating his meat over Eve from Stellar Blade. He's never actually played Stellar Blade, by the way. Before you try and chime in about Assassin's Creed, by the way, your parents don't love you. It's a genuinely...
How does he know he hasn't played Stellar Blade? I want to... Is there actually a track record here? I know that is such a weird thing to want to know, but I need to.
Fun and interesting fact that since leaving Blizzard, Mark Kern has never released a successful game. In 2005, he co-founded a studio called Red 5 with 3 other former Blizzard employees. He played a significant role in that development and was made CEO in 2008. If you know anything about Mark, if you've heard of like a little bit of him before, you will understand that he has allegations of overspending and promotional campaigns for Firefall. You've heard of the Firefall bus? That was made by West Coast Customs. You know what West Coast Customs is, you've been online. That shit cost $3 million.
You know what that is, you've been online. I don't know what the fuck that is. Does anyone know what West Coast Customs is? What the hell is Firefall? No. Why is he saying like we know these things? God damn it.
He purchased not 1,
Damn.
not 2, but 3 red epic dragons for his Red 5 Studios. This is a video production arm that's completely unnecessary for a video game developer. And my rough calculation is that including inflation, that is 40 to 50 grand per camera in modern day money. 150 grand on cameras that are not fucking needed. You don't need to shoot 4K footage in 2013 to document your video game. Red 5 employees describe Mark Kern as being...
Something to do with cameras, I guess. Yeah, that is... Okay, if that's true, that is weird, because... most people document their stuff on, like, literally nothing. So 150K on camera. Oh, it is a camera company. Oh, we're getting some connections in here. Yes, we're making some sense. We're connecting some lines. But yeah, that is a lot of money just to document your stuff getting made. Like I've seen the Shrek stuff look like it's been made on recorded on a Nokia. So, hey, Dark Love, welcome in.
Prone to extended absences and having erratic, impulsive, and very disruptive leadership styles. Anyway, Firefall was an absolute flop because Mark Kern doesn't actually know how to make games at all. I don't think it's particularly controversial to hold the opinion that World of Warcraft succeeded despite this guy and all the time he did spend on his little side projects. Again, I have receipts for this. Anyway, in 2013, Mark was removed as CEO from Red 5 by the board of directors of the company. Let's start the scamming people out of their money counter.
Ooh, yeah, getting removed isn't a great look, but I need to see receipts than just him saying receipts, right?
Shall we? Kern founded the studio MEK Entertainment in 2014. He raised...
Wait, Waste Cost Custom is a customizing shop where you can get your car customized for a price. Where? Where?
$1 million in seed funding for an Oculus Rift MMO. Guess what happened? You've got 3 attempts. Correct, he ran with the money. The game never existed. You know what did exist is a tax bill from the state of California for over $250,000 for 3 years that he never paid his taxes, and now they have a publicly viewable lien against him for this.
Okay, so he took his money and ran from a Oculus Rift game? Oh, it's like Pimp Your Rise. I don't know if it's all heresy yet. We're going to have to wait and see because some of this is already confirmed. Like some of this stuff already existed online that we know about because he is, sorry, there's a car. Because he has, and also said himself, has been the head of some failed companies. So we know Grummz has been in a lot of failed video game companies. And we do know that he's been developing his game for the past 10 years. That hasn't came out yet. That is the stuff I confirmed no. And from what I know, too, he left Blizzard on not great terms. Oh, shit. that's pretty known on the internet, so we'll give a little, like, some of this stuff is known, some of it isn't.
He got the itch again, and in 2016, he started crowdfunding a game called Ember, a spiritual successor to Firefall. He can't let that one go. That is his baby. He did an interview with a YouTuber in 2024 claiming about 600K has been raised so far for Ember. Guess where that shit is? It's DOA. There's no meaningful updates for any actual length of time. It's very haphazard. It's very obvious that he's neglecting this for his Twitter rants. It's just...
Honestly, I kind of would prefer if he did it like that dog dude who did Mr. Beast, where he showed the footage instead of just talking at us. Maybe I just have a very low attention span.
Sent at a subreddit full of people disappointed that he's gone down this absurd little culture war path. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty weeds for hours explaining what an awful game this is. There's other YouTubers that have... It's on the screen, just look at it. Our boy is planning to fundraise more, and he's calling this just a vertical slice, and he wants to do a Kickstarter one day. I've seen more coherent games out of weekend-long game jams. It's not slanderous, libelous, or any other kind of word to say that this man, Mark Edward Kern, head developer of Crixer Labs, is basically scamming people out of their money.
Okay, so Ember. Grummz Ember. Okay, we're looking this up because he gives us info later, but for us, I feel like he's talking to us like we've been hating on Grummz for years, but I don't know that much, so we're noobs. We're just researching. So that was Ember game?
What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the first episode in our coverage of Ember, a game that I've been keeping my eye on.
You have a car that's seen better days when there's a knock at your doorsy bit standing there telling you he's there to pimp your car.
It took him months to...
Yeah, why is it so hard to find out is it his or not? His main claim to fame is that he's a game developer.
Mixture of 3 models and give them each 3 frames of attack animation. There is no meaningful work being done on this game outside of reposting old AI-generated art, old commissioned art, and reposting old models that he had made 10 years ago. This man, all he does is log into the Discord, post, "This will be a great year for Ember," log off, start posting on Twitter while he deletes his old website and removes the ability to unsubscribe to long-suffering backers. There are people in there who are afraid that they're going to die before this game comes out, and they're desperate for just a taste of Firefall once again, and all he does is ignore them. You might be wondering if this guy doesn't work on his game and all he does is post. Again, it took him 6 months to texture a fucking model. What does he do? And he had other business ventures, and he had them for a very long time. What I have in my hands is...
He may be coming up aggressive, but he not wrong. The game does look like shit. This game does look like ass.
Probably the most complete biography of Mark Edward Kern, aka Grummz, that you're ever going to get. So, Mark isn't 100% into the game dev and culture war life. No, he has other side projects. There's objective proof of companies he has registered and deregistered, websites that he has worked on, money that he has taken from people for these other projects under other names, but it all comes back to him. Once again, this is publicly accessible information. When he found out people were looking for this, he's deleted the LinkedIn, Instagram, DeviantArt, clips for sale, Twitter account. Every public-facing piece of information that we can find has now been deleted. While you, Mark Edward Kern, were beating your meat raw over anime children's navels, we were finding out more about you than anyone should. Draw your blade, pervert. Ladies and gentlemen.
Cringed. I just cringed to death at that. Why? Clips for sale, Jesus. Depends. What intel do you have?
Welcome to what I'm calling the Goonernomicon. Now, this isn't a magic book full of spells that you can...
I guess that was just the intro, but...
Handed. This is a documentation...
Intro could have been shorter, that's all I'm saying.
...of Mark Edward Kern, the first in a series of some of the worst onanists, some of the worst masturbators in the gaming sphere who are trying to...
Remember, I don't know who the same people you know. I don't know who Yellow Fashes is.
...gaming culture to return to a time when they were 12 years old and all they had in life to look forward to is extra cheese sticks and a woman in a bikini. It will become pretty obvious that these men just eat with their erections.
Simpler times, am I right, brothers?
People forget that hating is an inherently valuable form of critical thinking. I have learned tens of thousands of facts via hating. If you are truly hating, you will take all the time you need to learn everything about the subject you are hating on just to hate better, deeper.
Oh, Grummz was hate watching this. Well, I assumed he already lost his shit, seeing his post on Twitter was that he got doxxed and he's suing practically, so.
This is a law of nature. This is a law of hating. The only thing that stopped this from coming out earlier is no one has been motivated.
Yeah, I would definitely say I don't think he's unbiased, this guy, at all. But I don't think some of his stuff isn't unsubstantiated. Like, I definitely think he has done his research here, and there is some information that is definitely true. But he's definitely in an echo chamber.
Enough to pay a data aggregator $11, and there are
okay, what? Hate watching Flash. Okay, how is that relevant to this? Like, because I don't know who Flash is. This is about Grummz. I'm very confused.
Out there in the open. The story here is that Grummz is a man who has aggressively pursued his personal interests at great cost to his family and his career. The biggest crime here is that anime babes with huge bazongas are his main interest. Actually, no, that's not the biggest crime. It's tax fraud. We'll get there. All of these points are archived in the description with source links. In 1968, Grummz comes into the world.
Yeah, like, I agree with that. Grummz has some of the weirdest stuff against him and makes very crap video games, but this guy needs to make better videos too. I don't know. We're going to see what information he comes from, because I haven't seen his information yet. So we're going to see, because I haven't seen anything that is illegal yet.
Mark Edward Kern. He's a former video game executive. 1992, he gets his bachelor's degree in cognitive science from the University of Rochester.
Look, he was leaving uni and I wasn't even alive yet.
His doctorate from Boston University School of Law with a specialization in IP. He goes on to found Qualia Games in Boston, developing a top-down 2D shooter called Grifter. This is with Blizzard's backing, and he loves the name Grifter. Grifter is eventually cancelled by Blizzard. They do pull the funding, and Qualia shuts down. There's not enough money to pay the payroll. Blizzard used this as a way to get some talent, and Mark is unfortunately the only one to take them up on that offer. He eventually moves on to a role at Blizzard. He serves as an associate producer for StarCraft, works on StarCraft 64 and Diablo 2 as a producer. He's in the credits. I'm not going to dispute the fact that he worked on these games. This is part of his career. March 27, 2001, foxyfighter.com is purchased by Mark Kern.
What a name, Foxy Fighter. Sounds like I don't know, like a mud wrestling or something.
That is where Gandhi's SAS is located. They are a French company, but Mark Kern is the registrant. Now, Mark Kern isn't a unique name, but there's later information that basically proves that this is... Now, what is foxyfighter.com? To put it as simply...
It's what? Sexy catfight hentai. Huh?
It's possible. Foxyfighter.com is sexy catfight hentai. It is a website run by a persona called Debbie Chan, but Debbie Chan is Mark. And that's underselling it. He has, over the course of 20 plus years, collected it.
This is why on the internet, if someone says they're a girl, be suspicious, especially in these industries. This is actually not super uncommon that a lot of sus stuff that guys make, they use a female name because it's not paid as much attention to. It's very common in manga and stuff.
A variety of live-action catfights, drawn hentai catfights, quite a bit of run-of-the-mill porn. However, there are multiple stories where his persona, Debbie, violently sexually abuses women.
Huh? Guys, exactly. Now you're in your heads in the game. You're being suspicious. I'm teaching you well. You're being suspicious.
It's been scrubbed at this point. As soon as Grummz got a sniff that people were investigating this, he ripped down as much as he could. Unfortunately, we archived most of it. The email addresses that we found share passwords when searching a pwn database, which is a database of dumped passwords and email addresses. We found a Foxyfighter email sharing the same password as Mark Kern's email. Fascinating, huh? We also found this one.
Okay. how the frick does he have the same passwords and email for the past 20 plus years? No, this is archived stuff. Like, this is just data from the website you can get. You don't need the dark web to get this shit. You can literally get this from just looking at a website's code half the time. I'm pretty sure you don't need the dark web to get this shit at all. Like, they've just archived it. A lot of information like this is in the code of websites. You just need to know how to look for it.
I'm just leaving that out.
It's under the FBI, though. We'll see if it's true or false. Yeah, he kind of predicts he'll do that, but it's technically not illegal to look at the code of a website. Just so you know, as someone who had to do code or make databases at school, it's very easy to see a lot of information. That's why you need business emails, business information, and stuff like that, because it's very easy to see.
Yeah, moving on.
To make sure. I have many different passwords.
July 21st, 2001 is the earliest capture of foxyfighters.com.
Wait, so he's using the FBI because some guy is talking about his website, foxyfighters.com. Is that a for real report? Is that like... I'm sorry, but like, he's kind of wasting the FBI's time if that's what it's about.
On February 28, 2002, Debbie wins second place in the third Sea King Fem Fights story competition, so he is actively making this stuff. And on March 24, 2003, we get RussianCatFights.com. This is another site owned by Mark. He confirms it on a Twitter post.
Okay, so that's an open Twitter post. It has to deal with that, yeah. Okay, what was the internet in 2000s? Why was there so many catfight places in 2000? What was happening, guys?
March 22nd, 2004, we get an archive of Latina catfights. This is also owned by Mark. June 28, 2004, access...
I guess he knows what he likes, I guess.
Foxy Fighter goes for about $10 a month. Posts are stories and drawn artwork. November 13, 2004, World of Warcraft releases. This is effectively the pinnacle of Mark's career. He's credited as team lead.
Oh wait, he was doing this while working on World of Warcraft.
Yes, he works on drafting the TOS in ULA and does licensing with China. He leaves Blizzard shortly afterwards. He says he's going to go and be with some family, so I don't blame him. Like, that was a very hard process, even if he was apparently a bit of a shithead. Look, no one's spoken about him in a good light at Blizzard, really. Like, not in a way that I think a team lead should in this role. Very shortly afterwards, him and a few other Blizzard employees found Red 5 Studios. So he obviously had a couple of friends who wanted to work with him, but he's not really mentioned in a lot of these retrospective books. It's real fascinating. June 15th, 2005, RussianCatFights.com is closed due to changes in US law. And on August 18th, 2005, LatinaCatFights.com is closed to the same changes. So I don't want to point out that this is anything egregiously sinister. This was a change that was required in the porn industry to have verified records of the performers. Before this law, those records were not kept. Blizzard in 2008 had some problems. People were stealing breast milk.
Is the story
from the fridge. This is attributed to Mark. People call him the breast milk bandit. He wasn't working there at the time, and he's not the breast milk bandit.
Damn it. I was told he was the breast milk bandit. That would have just been an icing on the cake. Damn it.
It's funny to think he is. Please keep doing it. Like, it's very funny. But we found dozens of breast milk photos on foxyfighter.com, so smoke there's fire, huh, Mark?
What? No, the fake news. Hey, Bolter.
October 17th, 2008, as
when he was working at Blizzard, because it's funny.
forum admin on freecatfights.com, Debbie recommends a Japanese breast milking series to another forum member and reveals that he owned latinacatfights.com. Now, you might notice that this is forum admin with a Batman avatar. This was scrubbed about a day ago. But this is him. April 23rd, 2009, Red 5 lays off 30 people.
Bro.
Reports of a studio
But it does seem like Blizzard has a problem. Like, why is he into it too?
purchase emerge. March 10th, 2010, that studio purchase comes through a company called The Nine. announces acquisition of Red 5 Studios, and Grummz becomes CEO. May 19th, 2010, Grummz buys a Leica S2 and a 70mm lens from OC Camera. Now, I bring this up because we match metadata from some of the live action photos on Foxy Fighter to this exact camera and lens types that we know he owns. September 3rd, 2010.
Okay, that's a bit of information I would not have bothered with, but like interesting, I guess.
Announces Firefall at PAX. September 20th, 2011, he goes and advertises foxyfighter.com and freecatfights.com on r/comics, which probably not the best place to do it, but doesn't even get a single piece of engagement. That's kind of sad. Come on, man, you're better posted than this. Even I can admit that, but dog. March 7th, 2011, he asks for models to star in fighting videos, so he's starting to move into...
So wait, were they drawn, or these real people, like real women? Like, because it said it needed ages registered. I thought it was art, or was he doing both? Wow.
Live action space at this point. And March 21st, 2011, model...
Yeah, that's why I thought he said hentai.
Megan Renee posts, "I adore you, Mark," on his Model Mayhem profile. And that's his Model Mayhem profile, Studio Foxy Fighter. You see that little boxing glove image up the top right next to his profile? That one is an exact match to a camera lens I know he owns and a camera that he owns.
Oh, so it's a mix of both. Oh my god, so that's what got him, is like one of the models mentioned him by name. So yeah,
October 5th, 2011, an IGN interview mentions Firefall will release soon. And he goes on to film a video of Randy Moore and Kimberly Jane. In January 18th, 2012, Red 5 skips E3 to protest SOPA. Mark is really big on hating SOPA, and he skips it and donates 50 grand, which was their E3 fund, to found the League for Gamers instead. League for Gamers is ostensibly a non-profit founded by Mark Kern. They style themselves as an advocacy group for video games, consumer-centric versus industry-focused. They represent the gamer. Red 5 paid this charity $50,000. He wired himself 50 grand from his slowly failing game studio, which I'm guessing was all that was left in the couch cushions at this.
okay, that's true. What the fuck? He stole money from his game studio to start a charity?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that to you, Pookie Bear. But it's
Bear,
just...
no!
Sometimes you make Daddy so angry that...
Thanks so much, Devious, for 5 community subs. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Storm, welcome in. We'll see if the timer goes up on itself in a second to see if it beats it. Oh my god. Who steals 50 grand? See, they're the allegations I find more concerning, is that he has stolen from every studio he has worked for. Funny, but this is fucked up. Exactly. That stuff's hilarious. Sure, I'll have a good laugh. But this stuff is the stuff I'm actually concerned about, that he just goes around in the game industry stealing. Like, bro, and stuff, you know? I hate when people do that.
The transaction with the state.
Yeah, virtual sexy women, but if women actually want to be sexy, fuck them.
California, this should be logged. It's not in the logs where we're checking. We can see it, the logs, but it's not there. He then waits for California to dissolve the non-profit, then started a for-profit Delaware Corp with the same name. That's bad. Why was this allowed? Is this all above board tax-wise? I am sure the California AG would love to know about this and the rest of your tax dodges. June 6, 2012, Grummz offers his opinion on the Leica S2 and Nikon D3S, mentions using them for the last 2 years. This is again, just as an aside, he used these cameras and 100% owned them. They are a match for Foxy Fighter's content in the unscrubbed metadata. July 4th, 2013, you remember the Firefall bus? Well, that's shown at Anime Expo LA.
Oh, so that's the bus he paid too much money to pimp out, which is like the bus they use for gamer stuff.
July 9th.
Is that how it connects to it?
2013, Firefall finally enters open beta. They are rapidly running out of money though, that's gonna become obvious. December 19th, 2013, he gets removed as CEO. They vote him out. July 29th, 2014, Firefall finally releases. September 22nd, 2014. Mark is after his next venture. He has made MEK Entertainment, Mark Edward Kern Entertainment. It is in Aliso Viejo, which is where everything
Did he name it after himself?
that he does is based. They are an indie game company looking to leverage the blockchain, maybe, 10 years too early for that hype, but I respect the forward-facing vision. MEKentertainment.com launches at this point. They are registered to MEK Entertainment Inc. However, looking at those
Yeah, no, Linkin Park is still making music.
entries, it looks like he never actually registered it as a company called MEK Entertainment. Beginning from the seed funding never really materializes. He gets ousted from MEK Entertainment and they go on to make a game called Voxel Noughts, but Mark never really does anything with his money, and we'll get to some allegations about that money later on.
So that's like the second company, kicked out from. He's been kicked out from.
June 17th, 2015, Grummz announces that he's joining Gamergate. He's mad. He's always mad. He's mad and he's horny. July 7th, 2015, DB Chan LLC is registered. Mark Kern's mother is the registered CEO. And imagine having your mother being the CEO of your porn company.
What? And yeah, this is also usually public information you can find. Most registered companies have who owns it in there. Most it has to be legally online nowadays. So yeah. And hey, Emblem, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Delinquents. But who the hell put your mum on it? Why? Why could he do his dad even?
Come on, man. Have some pride. August 8th, 2015, MEK Entertainment changes to Retro Ronin Inc., which is a site about voxel noughts. No Mark. Mark is no longer working for Retro Ronin. And on September 14th, 2015, Crixa Labs LLC is registered. This is the same address as DB Chan LLC. Interesting.
He has does he have a hyperfixation? He always uses the same names.
My question here is why? It seems legally sketchy to register two LLCs under your 80-year-old mum's name. My working theory is that this is a tax shelter and it allows him to report that he earns 0 or less.
Wait, she's 80. Then there's no way she did Playboy, right? Because maybe she by her age, maybe. Hey, Cook, welcome in.
Personal income required to be taxable by law.
I look so
He can
expensive.
report any additional earnings to his LLCs. He can then write taxes down by saying his revenue did not exceed his annual expenses. He can say his business spent more than they earned, not pay a dime on the money. This is classic tax fraud. Again, California AG would love to have this information. October 19th.
Then give it to him.
2015. Debbie,
Which he probably did, I'm assuming.
Creating an online cat fight game. Likely thing for Mark to do. November
Oh my
2nd,
God.
2015, the Patreon for Foxy Fighters is launched. It maxes out at $57 a month. And
My concern is finish a game. If you're not finishing it, you're a liar. But so far, I'm neutral. He says his wife, his dad, and his mom knows about this. The only people that didn't was his kids. He's divorced from his wife, but he's also hasn't been finishing his games. So that it's still weird. And he owes his wife child support for many years. Everyone knows this. And the charity, he also scammed money from a charity in here. There's a lot more than just the game. Hey, Papa. But I don't know about that. His wife knows all about his tax fraud, his stealing, not finishing his games. Because it seems he's not on good terms with his ex-wife. So I wouldn't believe him automatically, seeing he owes her tons of... He said he's still together with his wife. I'm pretty sure through this, it shows that he owes her back child support. So he wouldn't have child support if they were still together, right? Unless he has another wife, not the mother of his children.
it's eventually paused in 2020. November 16th, 2015, Cameroon Wildebeest is a prolific artist working in the catfight scene. They've passed away. His hard drive is too damaged to recover, and a terabyte of catfight art is lost forever. November 20th, 2015, Mark's wife disappears from social media as far as we can tell at this point. Until then, she'd been quite a big cheerleader for him in the online space. So, just kind of putting it in here as a marker, really. December 9th, 2015, he leaves Gamergate after being kind of too transphobic. And he does drop a couple of F-slurs, so...
So Mark decides he's not going to respect a fucking kid touches personal pronouns anymore. And no, can't have that LGBT self-esteem team assemble. You Fs managed to drive out what was probably Gamergate's biggest named dev supporter because you were concerned about Mapia and feels of some pedophilia supporters. Good call. I really dislike when it's like, are you gay? Are you anything other than straight? You must be a pedo. God, I hate that. I hate bringing that out unless it's 100% true.
No, sorry, he doesn't drop the Fs. Those people on Kotaku in Action do, but they're mad that he's, yeah, look, these people are all sad and need jobs. December 17th, 2015, Mark does interview to promote his free speech organization. He's still trying to keep League of Gamers going at this point. And Voxelnaught's Twitter comes out and alleges that Mark stole money from Voxelnaught.
Some facts about Grummz: rather than pay the team, he diverted money to his family. So, yeah. Mark and Voxelnaught, what team? The entire team quit on you months ago. You're suing them. Where?
So, that's where that money went from that seed funding. Jan 16th, 2016 on freecatfights.com. They've been filming fights with a Red Dragon camera.
So more money stolen.
That's interesting. Are these the same Red Dragon cameras that Red 5 had in their studio? I raised this earlier in the video. They had 3 Red Dragon cameras in there.
Oh, so that's why they brought it up. So this Foxy Fighting has the really expensive cameras that actually own to the company that he stole money from. Okay. So that's why they brought up all these allegations to connect to it. There you go, Roxas. It's because he stole these cameras from the company to record his sexy fighting. What a dickhead. Why is he so obsessed with his side project? Can't he just be a game dev?
$50,000 each. That's the whole rig. That's not just the brain. The brain's about 20. We have evidence that Mark was in possession of Red accessories at his personal lockup in California after he had left Red 5. Are they the cameras? Did he abscond with them, or did he purchase them with some of his pilfered MEK Entertainment money? I'm not alleging anything specific here. I am asking questions. What is fascinating
The middle, my mic was muted, fuck my life. The middle is he could have done it, he could have not done it. Saying he didn't do it is not the middle. That's taking a side. Hey, Shadow the Hedgehog, welcome in. But honestly, if he has footage of expensive 50 K cameras of these Red cameras, he definitely has the cameras. The question is, how did he get and afford those cameras, right? That's the real question.
is that he had access to these
Super Mario Bros. I've never played Super Mario Bros.
After he left Red 5. Remember that tax fraud discussion? It's at this point that Mark is hit with a lien for $265,133.88 for unpaid tax from the years 2011, 2012, and 2013. Excuse me for messing up the 2013 to 2015 on this slide. I'm not going to fix it. May 2nd, 2016,
Okay, so there is a paper trail of him not paying his taxes. How much money was he make if he has $260,000 in unpaid taxes? That's a fuck ton on unpaid taxes. How much was his tax bracket?
Chan posts on Twitter looking for models, promises good conditions and a full makeup and hair crew. May 25th, 2016, Kern goes to the Firefall subreddit telling people they should kill the game so that he can buy back the IP for cheap, which is...
That's fucking asshole.
Kind of sad to me.
I see a lot of misinfo out there, so I wanted to clear it up. First, I would only offer to buy Firefall if the IP falls and the game is shuttered or due for shuttering. I'm not interested in carrying over accounts or continuing the game in its current WoW with guns state that it is at this point, irreversible. Also, buying a failed IP is cheap. You get the code, the art, assets, the tools, the name, the customer list, the story detector, but nothing else. You're not buying a company team or the team.
It's an active game at this point, but you're actively trying to kill it so you can buy and get it back because you're mad you got ousted.
Petty.
May 29th, 2016, he delivers a petition to restore vanilla World of Warcraft to Blizzard. This is kind of his other big claim to fame in modern day. And June 11th, 2016, the legal compliance page for foxyfighter.com lists the mailing address for DBChan LLC as the same address that Crixer Labs is registered to. I've censored it here, but that is fascinating. You can't deny that DBChan Foxy Fighters, that's Mark. It is Mark.
Very likely.
2016, Make Ember, a spiritual successor to Firefall, was posted on change.org by Mark. That does hit 4,700 supporters. So, let's make Ember. He has camera equipment. He posts camera equipment to Flickr. Lenses here are a match to the photos shot for Foxy Fighters. And we see the red accessories I mentioned earlier. This is all in the same location.
I don't think he was involved with Minecraft.
Just the thought. August 29th, 2016, Ember, massive planetary wargame Indiegogo campaign is launched. $5,000 goal, raises 23 grand. September 14th, 2016, Ember Milestone 2 campaign is funded on Indiegogo. November 29th, 2016, puts his first adult video on clips for sale. This is his account and it's linked on the Foxy Fighters site. This is him. This is what he is selling. Note, an anonymous user eventually replies, "Is this a Mark Kern product? Deplorable." I want to know who this person was. What did they know? This is in 2017. Someone knew about this 8 years ago? How did they know? Anyway, July...
It doesn't seem like at the time it was like a huge secret that he was making prawn, right? Like a lot of people seems to know now.
Entertainment is formally closed, and July 5th, Ember is funded for 170 grand. So that's 114,000 between both Indiegogo and PayPal donations. That's over 20k goal. Grummz promises a playable mock-up in 6 months. Kickstarter for a full game a month or two after that. Anyway, September 13th, 2017, Mark's mum issues a certificate of cancellation for DBChan LLC. So, see you, DBChan. Thanks for your service, Mark's mum. And on July 24th, 2018, Ember begins selling upgrades to M3 backers as a limited time offer until the Kickstarter later this year. May 20th, 2018, a child support motion is filed by the state of California. Mark and his wife had been separated for a while. He had referred to her as his ex-wife in the Ember Discord, but they had reconciled at this point, according to another Twitter post from him.
Okay, so here's the part. So they were separated or had child support, but only we have a claim is that from him that they're back together. But I don't know.
This is obvious proof that they did separate at one point, and do you think the reason she left is because she found out about the adult entertainment gig, or maybe she found out about the tax fraud? Just a question.
A part here too, if he was getting done on tax fraud here, if she divorced him before it went through, she could save some of her own money. So technically it doesn't automatically mean that she could have left him for any of these reasons. She could have left him to save her assets too. But so we can't automatically assume the reason, but I did hear somewhere he was missing child support. So I think if that was the reason, she wouldn't have gone through with child support, but it is a possibility.
The timing makes sense with her leaving, him trying to go all in on the DBChan LLC. Much to think about. So March 1st, 2019, Debbie resurfaces. Like, this is when this was archived, but obviously the post was on January 3rd, 2019. They come back on freecatfights.com and ask if there's a demand for Foxy Fighters to come back.
I think my model cut out again. 1 sec. Honestly, I don't know. Like, obviously he's a creep. He's a weirdo. He's technically doing stuff illegal. I'm not even technically. Like, he's stealing money. He's evading taxes. He's causing mayhem. He's kind of a dickhead to ex-friends and employees. But I don't think this is that new for Grummz. From what I'm seeing, like, I think most sane people know he's kind of a dickhead. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, we're watching this video first. The worst thing. Yeah, the charity is the worst thing so far. But you're going to have to pick a favorite, and they better not be too long.
7th of March, 2019. Well, Mark admits that his original 3D artist left and he's had to teach himself how to do 3D modeling and build the main character of Ember. He's never made a game this way before, so he's trying to do it all without any outside investors, and at this point you should have realized it's a scam, team. So no one is a full-time employee on Ember. This is a solo project. An MMO is a solo project for him, and come on, team. Anyway, 28th of June.
An MMO is not a solo project.
2019. Ember first played.
Yeah, if this one's 30, that's fine because that's the trending one. But give me the 11.
It's achieved. Gamers. Finally.
It looks like
20th
asshole.
of August 2019. Foxy Fighter blog is offline. The DNS update needs to be required. Like, that's pretty simple, but this takes him a while. On the 5th of February 2021, Foxy Fighter is back online. Well done.
Can't.
Grummz is kind of wanking around at this point. He claims that he's not working on the game due to family reasons, but he's still just kind of shitposting on Twitter. And on 2nd of August 2021, Debbie releases a story called The Date. So while he's meant to be working on his crowdfunded game, he's actually just written adult literature on the crowdfunding time. And this is where that like violent sexual fantasy stuff comes in. 1st of December 2020.
Look, yikes. But my main thing here is like, how long has he been not working on his game while getting paid to work on this game?
Foxy Fighter URL lapses, a domain squatter grabs it for a hot minute.
Exactly, Raza scheme.
Grummz continues to radicalize himself on twitter.com. The rate of his posting rapidly increases as he tries to make himself one of the big culture warriors, and he's deleted a lot of that stuff now. A lot of his tweets aren't in existence back past 2023, but his rate of tweeting has done nothing but increase even since then. 30th of Jan 2024, Debbie makes her last login on freecatfights.com. God bless. Foxy Fighter URL, is still squatted. 26th of March 2024, Grummz tweets, "Bring back Rumble Roses." This is relevant because that's also Debbie's favorite game.
Yeah, it's the birds outside. Damn lad bastards.
25th of March 2025, we are made aware of the Foxy Fighters connection, and at this point, archival attempts begin. Twitter
Probably
user
Mag
Gooner
Prize.
contact with Grummz from interview request. He says yes. He is drunk at the time. He is drunk posting through it because he's mad that he got ratioed by Assassin's Creed. And when he wakes up the next day, Grummz blocks the hosts of Western Kabuki and begins to delete his past history as Foxy Fighting and Debbie Chan. It's Joba. Never been more Joba. So now what? This wasn't hard to find. We have archived all of it, so I'm going to be very careful with how I phrase the next things. The rest of it's all just been questions and statements of fact. Most of the previous portion, pure fact of record. Mark Kern is the owner of Foxy Fighters and has a pattern of consistently ignoring his day job to focus on it. He has a history of mismanaging money. He has potentially committed tax fraud that the California AG will be very interested in. He has consistently lied about progress on his games and has failed to make anything commercially successful since he was a team lead at Blizzard. It is my opinion that these games at Blizzard succeeded despite him rather than because of him. He does not know how to code, he does not know how to texture models, his animations are based on 2 keyframes with 3 other frames of animation.
Wait.
He will always have
What is he trained as? If he can't model, he can't code, what is he trained to do? He can't animate. What is he trained to do with making games?
an excuse for his failure after failure after failure. This man is sad. If you keep funding him or supporting him, you are willingly throwing your weight behind someone who has deceived and defrauded thousands of people while trying to position himself as a savior of gaming. There are people...
Yeah, that is the thing I would say. Train to goon. I do think some of it's like information is some good information. This guy obviously has a personal grudge that is mixed into this too, that kind of lowers his points. Because he gave some good information. I don't doubt he probably stole money from these companies by the looks of it. He probably hasn't really made a good game in a long time. He seems like he's not working on his game that's funded. Did he own Foxy Fighters? It seems likely at this point. Is this guy a bit biased and keep putting in his personal opinions mixed with information? Yes. They can both be true at the same time, but we'll look at the other side of the video to see what their counterpoints are too.
They are afraid they are going to die before the game comes out. This is all for the purposes
Oh, I forgot the stealing money for charity. That seems to be the least information, but a possibility. Though he We did see the facts for the tax bill that he could have been done for back taxes. So that's something to keep in mind too. There's too much stuff.
Really bad pornographic material. And I feel sad for the guys that are about to die. They are just desperate to play this game. They want to play something that reminds them of when life was better, and he just ignores them. His only goal right now is to get engagement from Elon Musk. He is deep-throating that man so hard that his throat is going to recognize the veins. That's his life.
Bro, why did you word it like that?
He keeps saying a Kickstarter is coming. This is a great year for Ember. It's not. He does not know how to make a game. His one hope is that Daddy notices him and throws a few $1 million at him to hire people who actually know how to make a game.
This would be so much better without his own personal biases thrown in.
This man is a failed dev, a failed pornographer, a failed husband with a fragile mind, a fragile ego, and a fragile life. That's the timeline. And I'm not going to make value judgments over the rest of it.
I have no idea.
To decide, I have laid out
I just say it's a magpie because there's so many magpies around this area. So
facts as I see them. It is my opinion, and I'm going to crouch this as being my opinion. Mark Kern is a narcissistic loser who has a publicly stated fetish for lolicon navels and a hidden fetish for women catfighting. He has the ear, at least occasionally, of the richest and most powerful man in the world. What he gets out of this video is what he's gonna get.
bitches, you tell me what bird's outside my window, I can see them, okay? I think I can fucking see what bird it is, okay? And I think I know what birds are in my neighborhood, okay? We don't get many ravens around here.
We're going to know everything they need to know about him, and they can make decisions from there. Mark runs targeted harassment campaigns against devs that he deems as woke, and he buys his own likes on X.com when he gets ratioed by Assassin's Creed's community manager. He has pilfered and absconded with at least $1.6 million of funding for not one, but
They always sound like assholes to me.
two failed games, and we have ample evidence that he's also absconded with extremely expensive video equipment to shoot his adult video side hustles. He is nothing if not a sad, lonely man who is desperate to leave any mark on the world, because he knows his career as a game dev is worth less than a cold turd on a hot dog bun. You now know everything about him. You know his business dealings, his motivations for hustling people out of $1.6 million.
Oh, my side. Bro, you have to stop going my side. This is why you complain people lump you in with all the, like, extremists, and you're literally, my side did this. That's going to get you lumped in together. Post, and we all said take the L. Oh, for Grummz getting ratioed? Like, what do you mean? I don't take sides. That's how you not get lumped in with people.
My opinion, a pervert of the highest order who has taken advantage of the goodwill of his fans, taken advantage of their bubbling rage, and he has taken advantage of his own family. And I think more people should know and understand
This person crossed the line? Better be more than, oh, that's too far. Like the Opera GX joke, how everyone's butthurt because they said it was going to blur out Grubbs' name, because that's some dumbassery right there. Okay, my opinions. We all knew Grummz barely finishes games. We already knew that. We already knew there were some accusations from his previous job. The video is trash. And it's biased, obviously, and we all agree this guy is probably in an echo chamber, mainly because he couldn't skip to the facts for us. We want facts. We want information. I don't want his personal opinions on why he thinks Grimes like deep throat Elon Musk or whatever the fuck. Like, he may have some good points in here, but he did not do a good job in utilizing them. You know what I mean? But this guy definitely should have done a more professional job putting together a post like this. Swear to God. I swear. I swear. Thanks for the follow, Smoking Gun. Welcome. I swear. Roxas, if this has nothing to do with Grummz, that, wait. Yeah, I'm shooting off on the distance. Don't make me take my finger and press down on this trigger. Yeah.
The person who's currently suing me for alleged harassment is the same person that continually gets caught up in these back alley ways of trying to dig up dirt on my personal private life in order
All these guys make me feel so young right now.
to directly harass me. It's almost like this is straight up projection. Once again, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I have been informed via GigaBear and Mark Kern, aka Grummz, that Alyssa Mercante has been hiding out in a secret Discord that actually costs money to access. And in this Discord, they were discussing ways to find out more information specifically about me and my personal life in order to what? Entertain yourselves? Find out more information to chat about? No, this is a direct attack once again on me and my family. And it doesn't end on
Gonna need to see some
either.
receipts.
This Discord goes into trying to find out more information on Grummz himself, as well as accessing stolen and data breached information and passwords to access Grummz accounts to find out more information on
Entertain
him. And
this
how
guy.
deep this rabbit hole goes might actually get the FBI involved.
She's got the crazy eyes,
Hit that
guys.
Subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full and very exhaustive article going through as much information as I could gather.
Yeah, in his video we saw, I didn't see any access to his accounts. Like, oh, fuck. Why am I crouching? I didn't see. Yeah, she did, but we're talking about Grummz. We don't care about this Smash guy. Hey, Legendary, it's in the afternoon for me. Stinky. Why does this keep crackling? One sec. This is a Grummz case. This is a Grummz case. But we didn't see him actually access his account. All his information he showed was public information. We started a bit later because I missed the start stream time and we did our April Fool stuff. I got arrested.
Discord that is private, and much of it is being scrubbed.
Okay. I changed the settings and I'm playing with it more. It does sound a bit odd to me. I'm not really sure why, but I changed just to have like a limiter and some other things. He might lie about the information he got. Well, he did show receipts. Well, do you mean he would lie about how he got the information? Yeah, he showed it.
Right now, because all this stuff was found out about me and Grummz and some of the same people asking the questions.
But that's just a guess. We would need proof. You can't just say, well, I bet he stole it. You need proof he stole it. You can't just say, well, he stole it, so the FBI is getting involved. You have to have proof. Because everything he showed, you can find publicly, so.
Are the same people suing me? We have
And he shares emails.
Mercante.
Yeah, then we need proof. We need proof. That's one thing.
Terrorism, harassment, among a slew of other things.
Wait, how is it terrorism?
All I'm doing over here is covering video game news. God only knows what
They're
the hell
saying that he does terrorism.
doing, digging up more and more information on me, trying to find anything she can to.
I may need some info help for reasons regarding Jeff Smash TV Tyler's previous employment. If anyone has info, can you please ping me on here? Okay, so that's about his previous employment.
We got him. This is the one thing we can actually sue him for. When in reality, all she's doing is digging a deeper hole for herself. Alyssa Mercante, the failed former senior games journalist from...
To be fair, also, that's a cutout there, but we don't know what server that's from. We don't know where it was posted. We also don't know 100% if it's her, because it's on there. Like, so, but we're going on how true it is. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Kotaku and recurring controversy magnet has now been exposed behind a private paywalled Discord server associated directly with
where's Grummz? This is a Grummz case.
Western Kabuki podcast. And
We're 2.5 minutes in. Where the fuck is Grummz?
Before myself, apparently the Discord that's associated with them was being used with other failed games journalists to dig up dirt on my past employment history, as well as contribute orchestrated smear campaign against Grummz.
No. Okay, so someone was bored. So I was bored, and someone who I met has a bunch of historic data breaches. So they went through a single path looking for Grummz. This turned out an email and then a search again for the email address, and eventually got 3 or 4 email logins and a few associated with password. Now at this stage, if people have a unique enough passwords, which they reuse between accounts, you can go back and search for totally unrelated account names using that unique password. And that is where I found out Bleh is the name Bleh already covered in this mythos. Okay, they just said that his passwords and his email was mentioned, and that connected him to, I'm going to assume, Debbie-chan. They're not using it, they just, his previous information used on websites led them to connect his other accounts together. They're not in his accounts. They just were able to tell he owned them. Hey, Badode. Okay. I don't see it is in the search, so I guess I'll continue. There's an email just below, and it's using the same weird password, but Grummz had been, and it turns up in a bunch of extremely not safe for work forum posts looking for catfight content. Yep, it's the Debbie-chan. There's a fake LinkedIn profile owned by and full of weird anime drawings of women fighting. All the content is about women fighting. Yep. That is my biggest gone. Why do so many people like the idea of everything being a coordinated smear campaign? Yeah. I'm going to need some smear proof, but okay. So yeah, again, this doesn't show any hacking into his account. It just connects the 2 accounts because they use the same email and password combination. Oh shit. I didn't mean to do that.
These people...
Very different than hacking or going into their account. You have to actually log in and get information out of their account.
Up have Grummz derangement syndrome, and they are coming after me and Grummz right now because they can't stand the fact that we keep winning when we talk about the things we love. This
winning? What?
secretive digital war room, accessible only to $10 and up Patreon subscribers, has now been completely blown wide open thanks to Gigabear, who bravely infiltrated the server and provided plenty of screenshots of damning conversations, and my goodness, the irony of Alyssa Mercante.
Wait, was that the same one?
And my goodness, the irony of Alyssa
Same
Mercante
screenshots
being harassed against me.
Same screenshot.
She is the one once again trying to dig up
to gaming companies, and he got info on stuff that sometimes gaming just break the news on stuff. Smash it. So he gets leaks. Isn't that wrong? Also to leak stuff about games, people get up decade all the time for it. Isn't leaks against the rules too?
Dirt and find information on me to harass me. This is
what is exactly jamming about these screenshots?
Where the seeds of the operation were sown.
Okay, here we go. Some new ones. Really shouldn't list credentials, in my opinion, regardless if they work or not. Imagine using as your password, but plain text password again. Why would you make it a LinkedIn for your femdom wrestling fetish site? That is very funny. There's quasi-public, but all right, move that screenshot.
Inside this channel, users like Alyssa Mercante, Nick Calandra of Second Wind, and
posting. What is plain text credentials? Are they saying posting his password? Or does that mean something else I'm unaware of? It's likely him, but proving it's him is tougher. True. That's the thing. You have to connect the dots. The word choice spelling integrated are a good tell, but it's also soft data. The name match his IP address. The name match is also unfortunately soft because we know there's 2 Mark Kearns in his region of California. There's an email password breach which connects them as hard data. A couple email account shared as password, including which is use the password per. That is the most important link, but there's not much public access about it. What here is supposed to be the IP? Because nothing here really that's blurred seems like IP that they're talking about.
Others like McDizzle, Airbag, Thief Pal, Spew, Wash Your Crack, and many others work together in order to dox Grummz, the outspoken.
So I don't know what there is supposed to be the IP, because nothing they mention it sounds like posting of IP. Not supporting that Craig is a weak man with zero conviction, screws over around him and then plays the victim. He worked at Enthusiast Gaming during the same time I did, and I didn't know who he was then. Now I do after he let Grummz go on his show and say I doxed him with zero pushback.
Developer working on Ember, and even plotting further takedowns, including targeting myself in addition to going after him. In one thread, ThiefPal accessed stolen data breach credentials, including plain text emails and passwords, posting them publicly on the Discord for anybody to be able to access Grummz's accounts.
By the way, don't reuse passwords for shit like this, especially if you're trying to make two separate.
Very pog visiting everyone gives them your IP. Yeah, I don't know if, because I have had people try and snack my IP. I'm just lucky that most Australian places do city IPs. It's not like you have to request a unique IP. So all you can get is the city, realistically. The person's in. And I don't think it's illegal in most places. Get a VPN. I don't know, last time I used it, it like slowed my internet to a snail pace, so I think I used it wrong. But so, or I think it would depend on what country you're in, if it's illegal or not. But again, the person who hacked and took that password, if someone did hack and get it out, they would be at fault, not the person who's just reading the information. I don't think it's illegal for you to read information if it's publicly now posted all over the internet. Because I feel like the only thing you could say is maybe could be hacked is the password, maybe? Because the email is public, but maybe the passwords. But that's not the same as them logging into the account with it. And only the person that actually hacked, like took those passwords, would be able to be prosecuted, and it would be illegal in terms of service to have doxing service. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I don't know. It's nothing in there is doxing so far. Because what is doxing in them? Yeah, what is doxing? I don't think they've doxed anything about him, because most of this stuff is public information. They're just asking a question, is it him that is doing the foxy boxing? One has smash said anything that convinced me of any of his arguments. He rambles too much like the first dude. Okay. Because, no house address, no phone numbers, no school, no work. His legal name is public, so doxing is information that is not out in the world, that is private or could lead, so.
Personas with different names that you're going to LARP as for 20 plus years. If you're a 40-year-old man at the time.
Yeah, I don't want to water down because doxing is serious.
60-plus-year-old now, you've done that. I can establish that.
And apparently, Grummz
Sona got their families messaged by these people. But I don't see their address here. Where did their address get leaked?
His shocking reveal that they found out was that Grummz operated a website that ran softcore porn stories and related things to that, like 20 years ago. Okay.
For 20 years, not 20 years ago. He had it running up until like 2019. So, but it's funny. But the point is that it connects to the story of him stealing revenue to siphon off to his porn and cameras, and stealing equipment from the game companies he stole money for and crowdfunded and took patrons' money to then siphon off to his poor companies. That is the story. The story isn't he's a gooner. The story is, did he steal money to fund these things? And took money from a charity to fund these things. Because at the same time, he was stealing money from companies and getting kicked out of gaming companies and not fulfilling Kickstarters or Patreons or whatever he used at that time.
I don't understand what the gotcha is on that. I mean, people do many various jobs. I mean, sure, that one's a little bit more out there, but whatever. We have someone who is a self-admitted sex worker that worked at Kotaku now suing me for harassment.
Oh my God, she's a sex worker. Okay, why is that? It's like, why is that her being a sex worker a bad thing, but Grummz making porn isn't a bad thing?
For saying that she was a sex worker that she herself told everyone that she was. So I don't understand how this is a gotcha against Grummz when literally more projection. That's all this ever is.
But that's not the gotcha. The gotcha is, did he take money from his gaming companies to pay for these things? That's the gotcha.
Is with these people. This whole thing runs really deep and ultimately completely fails to expose Grummz for anything other than a dude that worked various jobs that were legal and maybe counterculture.
No. It's about, did he steal or not? See, this is the thing. It's focusing on one thing, but missing the point of how those stories. I blame the guy who made the video. He brought the point too early and didn't connect it. Managed to be worse. Yeah, that other guy's video was ass. Like, he spent 12 minutes on the intro. And he brought up that point too early. He could have just brought it up when he brought up the point of stealing. Instead, he had to waiting 15 minutes to get there.
Nothing that you can really get him on. It's almost like these people just
nothing you can get him home except the tax fraud, right?
Find anything they can just to say, look, here's what he used to do. This is why he should be discredited. It's like, well, what does it matter what someone did 20 years ago?
I think the biggest discredit is that he doesn't finish his games. He doesn't actually pay his employees. He has been chucked out of every company is the main discrediting, next to, tax evasion, stealing from charities and all that stuff.
Illegal, who cares? Like, people do a lot of different things. I genuinely do not understand how this is the big gotcha.
Even if these people are trying to do a smear campaign, does that make Grummz in the right? Does it guy in the right? Two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I mean?
Your real name to register these emails. Your real name's out there on this historical who is information. When you update this information, it doesn't go away. It's there. It's stored. The
I don't
internet
care.
Never forgets is the phrase.
Is he admitting to? Hold on.
He just admitted.
To logging in with your passwords.
Yeah, he just admitted.
Is that legal?
Oh, no, it's not.
possibly
And I'm
be
going to
legal.
get into that because I have the receipts on this. They just themselves. And they
He literally doesn't say he logged in with their passwords in that entire video, though. He says he has them and they show their canals, but he doesn't say he ever logs into these accounts.
idea how hard they themselves. Because
And he's like admitting to it on video.
Because we just watched this video.
admitting to it on video.
Grummz has since announced on Flashcast that he fully plans on presenting this information to the FBI for further investigation. And let's be clear here. This is a coordinated cyber stalking operation, and it's
Cyber stalking situation. I'm going to say here two things. One, that poor FBI agent, but maybe if we do have like on paper them leaking an address, the FBI ain't going to give two shits. I'm going to be for real for you. If you have a real stalker like at your door trying to like break down and stab your family, the cops aren't going to do anything until you're stabbed. So my point is like, this is not going to do much. Like, even if you have a lot of proof here, which I'm not seeing enough.
extremely illegal. The fact that Alyssa Mercante, who is currently suing me, is caught up in all this nonsense as well, makes it that much more wilder. Like, honestly, of all the people to be a part of this operation.
To be fair, I haven't seen her message connected in the same server as this guy. So he talked on a story about people I don't care about. I barely know these people too. But because he showed that one screenshot of her, but how do we know it's in the same server? Like, he's just showed two screenshots and we don't see what server they're in.
Alyssa Mercante, the person suing me, is being caught asking for more information about me
On his past work.
after they're finding information about Grummz. Hi.
I don't know. See, he's just using the same one screenshot, but what is illegal about this so far? Hi, hello, people. I may need some info help for reasons regarding Jeff Smashed. Tarzy's previous employment. She specifically asks previous employment. If anyone has any info, can you please ping me on here? But where is here? Like, how does this connect at all with
Hello,
anything
people.
bad so far?
I may need some info.
We need more details. Even if we don't like her or whatever, this is not enough to go by. And this is the only screenshot that connects her to this story so far.
Reasons in italics read coded language because we all
Oh, fucking Christ. Reasons? It's coded language. It's like having it's a coded hate crime. What the fuck is that? In italics for reasons. You can't assume what someone meant by reasons and say it's coded language. So she's meaning to harass me. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's fucking stressed.
All know what she's going for here.
We all know. No, bro, you can't just say we all know what she's going for. Like the previous guy who's in his obvious echo chamber saying, we definitely know what they mean, right? No. What does she actually mean with facts? Same with the previous guy. I don't want you to tell me to fill it in with my pre-assumptions of what they mean. Also, yeah, if it's a hit piece, it's not illegal. Like, they are journalists. Act on any doxing cases unless the target was a big corporation. Yes.
JT Tarzia's previous employment.
That's the thing. Even if she's crazy, we can't automatically assume he's right because she's crazy.
Anyone has any
that showed Smash House address on Twitter. Well,
info.
What does that have to do with Grummz, though?
Can you please?
That's... Remember, this is about Grummz. We don't care about Smash. Where did Grummz get doxed?
Me on here. Now, Alyssa, I gotta ask you, what do you need about my prior work history that you can't find out there publicly? What would it be that you're trying to find? Maybe, I don't know, something to help your case because you're completely struggling and have nothing to stand on right now? So now you're finding these alternative methods of trying to send your guard dogs out to find information on me so you could hopefully...
And unfortunately too, in America, specifically, it's a bit sealed in Oz. I'm pretty sure court case information is public because it's the same with Onision. He had all his court statements leaked, but it's not illegal because it's on public record in American court system, interesting enough. So technically, I guess bringing people's attention to it is bad, but it's technically not doxing, I would say, because it's again public information, right? Yeah, that's her being biased as fuck. But you could technically find it on the same open court case in that region. It's unfortunately public information. I don't particularly like it either, but it is technically public information. Like,
please somehow, some way find something to finally nail me to the wall and say, yep,
hey,
we got
Vis.
Smash because he used to work at this random place 20 years ago. And first off, no, you're not going to find anything in my background or anything in my closet because there's nothing that I hide. I'm fully transparent with my entire audience. And I know that's something you don't say to the internet because people always find stuff. But as far as I know, my past is completely clean. How's yours, Alyssa? It's almost like you assume that everyone has just as bad of a past as you. Journalism at all, and everything to do with her continued attempts to silence any dissenting voices. And her presence in the group is not passive, it's participatory. Again, beyond insane for someone who's currently suing me and that is asking for information.
Again, I'm gonna have to see her participating. Like, also this server in general, some more act, and then instead of those just 2-3 screenshots. But yeah. Again, him getting, even if it is doxing and you put it under that, him getting doxed does not justify any of Grumm's action or discredits his accusations against him.
Sending people out
so far.
At me for that. And now think about this, because I've had people contact where I used to work, and I've had people report back to me there about these people doing it.
I do hate that.
It was right around the time that Alyssa sent this message out on the Discord.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Everyone can be wrong in a story, or wrong for different things in a story.
And I can't help but think that maybe there's a connection between the two.
Because I can't comment on this guy because I don't know enough about him in Alyssa's situation or whatever. So like, I'm not really commenting on Smash's side of this.
Look if I was at that company and I had all these haters going there, calling me, trying to get me fired from the job, probably wouldn't look that good, would it, Alyssa? And she's not alone. We have Nick Calandra being seen mocking Stuttering Craig from Side Scrollers. And we also have Airbag coordinating brigading efforts on...
Oh, wait, is that the dude on Twitter that's always getting in trouble? Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it discredits. I think, as I said, the person we saw in the video does seem like a twat too, but everyone can be a twat. That's the thing. We don't need a good guy in a story for the information to be true.
X via community notes. This isn't discourse, it's digital mob justice, and it goes on and on and on. Gigabear's screenshots confirm
He reuses the same
ultimate
screenshots a
objective
lot.
here, to take out Grummz and then subsequently target others who are critical of the mainstream gaming media DEI agenda. They're losing
The mainstream media DEI agenda, or maybe that Grummz has scammed a lot of people of money, and so they don't like him. Like, I feel like that's also very likely. Because you fuck over enough people, you're going to get people not liking you.
so badly in their efforts that they have now stooped to these levels. This is ideological warfare, and Grummz is public enemy number one to them, precisely because he's been so effective.
To be fair, I kind of knew this guy was on a certain side because of his language too, but it's so obvious this is just this guy is biased too that we're watching right now. They're both biased people, but there is like some slithers of truth in both their discussions. You know what I mean?
Developers and gamers who oppose political overreach in games. And I gotta be honest, it probably pisses them off pretty good too that Elon Musk is now following Grummz and consistently interacting and retweeting Grummz as well, probably making them hate Elon Musk even more. And isn't it interesting how it's always the same Trump derangement syndrome, Elon derangement syndrome, Grummz derangement syndrome, and now we're getting Smash JT derangement syndrome. Why? Because they ideologically...
I don't know. I feel like Smash is so trying hard to insert himself into us. I've never heard of Smash derangement syndrome or Smash in general. I don't know. It's just...
oppose the message that I am talking about how I want games to return to some level of normalcy, returning the games to the gamers, the customers.
Oh, Jesus.
The people with the wallets buying the games and standing up for the customer to make sure that the games we get aren't DEI injected woke slop and nonsense that keeps
DEI injected woke slop. We have gotten some pretty amazing games the last couple years. I don't know the idea why people say all games have come out are bad. Like what? Someone on my side.
coming down from the top, and instead quality
derangement syndrome
experiences that we want
blank
to get
derangement
back.
syndrome. Yeah, exactly. I hate the whole political aspect of arguing on gaming in general. I don't like it. Can we just talk about if the game is good or bad?
To playing. These are people that prioritize ideology over a fun game experience.
Well, to be fair, I feel like they have their ideology they want to push. This is just my ideology is better than your ideology. It's not I don't want any ideology in this work. I just don't want yours and I want mine too. Came out in 2015. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I loved Repo, and it came out this year. I loved fucking Baldur's Gate 3. Came out, I think it's like 1 or 2 years old now, right? Like, there is some amazing games. We can stop making it political. It would be nice, because as soon as you, like, put, like, some sort of Puritan on, it can't be right, or it can't be this because I'm left. You're, like, stagnated your game that it can no longer experiment. Some of these Gooner Gate videos and Smash covered it going after right-wing Christian. Yeah? Repo is too woke. Oh.
And because of that, they can't stand to see that my audience continues to grow while they continue to get laughed out of the room. Grummz' success terrifies them. So they...
Well, that's the thing. 2015 is still pretty modern. Like, it's not even a decade old. Like... these are the kind of people saying games haven't been good since like 2006 and shit like that. Like we've been making like there has been a lot of like expansion and exclusive stuff since the 2000s and stuff. So it's like when exactly did DEI in this mindset ruin gaming? Like I'm saying like there is some that is trash can because corporate greed, etc., especially with AAA games. But when did it apparently destroy it? You know what I mean?
They're trying to destroy
His success, what has he done? He is just tweeting. That's what I want to know. What are we like Tumblr girls from 2011 where having a lot of followers on Twitter or Tumblr makes us successful? Like who the hell puts I have a lot of followers means I'm a success exactly? I find that this mindset, and I would call it internet brain rot more than anything, where the online success or online like clout is the most important thing in the world. And I feel like gaming has turned into like being teenage girl with amount of followers and likes as the most important thing, and it justifies everything you do instead of, actually making stuff of value. It's kind of annoying.
Destroy his reputation, his game, and his family. These people have doxed Grummz' address, used family photos, posted vague death threats, created smear campaigns using...
And I would say if this stuff does happen, I don't think it should be done. I think you should leave his family out of it because he's responsible for his own actions. And two, but I don't think you should do it to anyone. I don't think you should do it to left, right, or, hockey puck. You know what I mean?
Impersonators spread false rumors, including the infamous breast milk thief lie, published a porn game with the same name as
Pretty funny.
his title to hurt his brand on Steam, and even put out alleged bounties on his life. Now, sure, if you...
Alleged. See, that's the thing. I don't like talking about some things where he doesn't have any single kind of facts. Didn't like it in the first video, don't like it on this video.
Who don't like Grummz and you hear these things, you're probably like, yeah, he probably deserves it. Screw that guy. But as a human being, take a step back and be like, holy shit, what are we doing here? Like, take a step
My
back
Grifter
from all
era.
of this and
I
realize
hate DEI. Please give me money. I love DEI. Please give me money.
that Grummz
Which
put
one
the game
works?
out. Like, that's my same stance I've had since day one of hearing about this. And I will forever be critical of someone who kickstarts a game and doesn't put the game out there. But that being the case, that's separate from everything else they're doing, attacking his personal life right now. As far as I understand, when you run a Kickstarter, you run the risk of maybe the game has delays, maybe
Yeah, but you can still roast that person, and it shouldn't be a 10-year
working on
delay.
it has family issues or problems that happen at home, or someone passes away or something happens.
But I feel like you should be transparent. What are the family issues that has put him on such a long hiatus?
Takes them away from the game that they
And he shouldn't be fucking spam tweeting. If he doesn't have enough time to work, he doesn't have enough time to spam tweet.
everyone. That's not an excuse, it's just reality. And what's happening with Grummz right now is he needs to get
It's
this
like if you can't hand in your exam, I don't want to see you down at the mall watching a movie.
game out, and he has a tremendous amount of pressure from the community to do so, and deservedly so. But going after him personally and attacking him is a bridge too far. What the Western Kabuki...
Well, I feel like most of this is talking about his work. Like, I do agree that him going on a personal level in some of this isn't needed. But most of the facts and allegations in this is about his work and stealing.
server did isn't research at all. In fact, it's potentially felony level cybercrimes under the laws like
Game guy. Yes, it's like, the Yandere simulator guy. He stole money from tons of people and never got the game out. And he was a fucking weirdo too. But yeah, they don't really discredit the actual allegations. They're just saying he's guilty by association with these other people.
Computer Fraud Abuse Act, accessing and sharing login credentials from breaches, let alone using them, which was admitted to being done by Western Kabuki in their video, tying personal accounts at Kabuki in their video.
Okay. I'm gonna read this, but holy shit, is he using Grok from Twitter? Okay, this is some kid brain rot. I hate. How many times is he going to say that? Okay, but okay, you're not supposed to use AI as a fact check, guys. They don't allow it for kids. They don't allow it for anything. This is some Twitter brain rot to use AI or Grok. Like, how lazy do you have to be to ask ChatGPT practically? But is posting a plain text email password a crime if done for malicious purposes? Hey, Deb, well, thanks so much for the follow. Posting something else, an email password in plain text with malicious intent could indeed be considered a crime in many jurisdictions, though the specifics depend on the laws of the country or region. So maybe, depending, and you have to prove it was malicious too, which is hard, might fall under several legal categories. Unauthorized access or hacking. If the email and password were obtained without permission, e.g. through phishing, hacking, or illicit means, again, you would have to prove that. This could violate laws related to unauthorized access to computer systems, meaning they would have to prove they have hacked into their computer, not just from that they used it on a website. Use aspects of this might breach the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Identity theft, sharing someone's credentials with intent to harm them or enable them to misuse their accounts could be classified as identity theft or fraud, which is illegal in most places. Harassment or cyberbullying if the goal is to harass, intimidate, or harm the individual, exposing their private communication or enabling account takeover. So what is it saying is if they want to take their account or get into or and stuff like that, as in to steal it, that is not what they're doing. This could violate anti-cyberbullying or harassment laws. Even if they could prove that, do you know how hard it is to prove the harassment and anti-bullying laws? It's fucking so hard. And we got 7 minutes left on the subathon. Let's go. And we're on double time, so double the minutes. The parts that are the most important part. Yeah.
Personal accounts and launching.
It's another thing I'm not saying it's American, but the idea of suing something you can't prove or you're going to lose is very prevalent. So yeah, exactly. And I don't think they could win this, but two, I don't even know if it properly falls under this.
Targeted harassment against somebody is a crime. Think about how deranged you'd have to be just to go to these lengths to try to...
If this would count as a crime, almost all harassment done on Twitter would be a crime. Grummz himself would be guilty of doing this too, because he puts out hate raids onto people and onto games and companies. So technically, all the people he does that to could say it's a crime too. So this is something that is very, depending where you put the line, this could hit a lot of people. So the firm we have has good and bad stuff, yeah. Hey, Elijah.
To get a got you on someone, logging into their account with their password and then telling people that...
Yeah, this completely hinges on, did he log in or not? Did they log into these accounts?
That's exactly what you did. Doxing...
Again, they show nothing about them logging in. We have no emails from these accounts, so yeah.
Stalking and publishing private credentials for the purpose of harassment, all which happened here in writing in a server they now hide behind a paywall to escape scrutiny. Not that anything here is new. Hell, Alyssa doxed my home address with where my kids live, my wife lives, and I live, my home for my family, where she redacted her own address due to safety concerns. This on social media and then got retweeted.
I don't know if it's technically doxing because in a legal sense, but I do think it's bad form. Just because you can find it doesn't mean you should post it. Just because it's public doesn't mean you should draw attention to it, in my opinion.
Telling people where to look to find my address. But yeah, I'm the bad guy in this situation for daring to cover video game news, which I'll remind everybody is literally all this is, and it's nothing more. They want to make it more than that because what I cover does not match their ideology, and they're not big fans of that. Huge thanks to GigaBear's courage to find out all this information. We all know now what's really happening behind the scenes at Western Kabuki. No longer is this about any kind of small Twitter beef or internet drama. This is a coordinated network of disgraced journalists led in part by none other than Alyssa Mercante, who are actively using these criminal methods to silence dissenting voices in gaming. They thought they could get away with it, but the screenshots are now public, the receipts are in, and the truth is out, and they'll never be able to hide it again. And yes, I have contacted my lawyer, Ron Coleman, with this information.
Telling what truth, though?
That's all
I don't think he gives enough to back up his truth here.
Right now. Anyways, I'm going to leave the video there. If you guys want more information, again, check out smashjt.com for the full article, screenshots, sources, everything else. Shout out to GigaBear, Grummz, and so many other people.
Hey, Gundam. Okay, Grifter is pretty much someone who takes on an ideology or uses their ideology to make money, and their predominant reason is to make money, views, or clout.
Help me bring this information together and bring justice to the gaming world and these people trying to push an agenda in this Gamergate fight because their ideologies are fucked. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
In the future, use a completely separate email with a completely separate password. It might actually
Okay, pause that.
Don't use the same lawyers either.
So OPSEC, right? So 20 years ago, OPSEC wasn't a real thing. And so and we'll get into why they discovered that I had used temporary passwords. Also, 20 years ago, I was a nobody, right? Like I hadn't done WoW, I hadn't And so, you know, you think that you're going to be okay, and there's not a lot of like.
I like how he's defending it like, oh, I'm not stupid. But the point is, he uses these passwords for like 20 years.
Not the same level of rigor and hackers out there that are going for this information. You know, right now, and I recommend to everybody out there, use two-factor, use unique passwords for stuff, but they're going to get into that now. And this is what's going to get them in trouble.
I don't think Alicia was really mentioned much in this video. She only had that one screenshot. We don't know where it's from. We don't know how it's connected to any of this. I find it so weird that he's connected this so much to himself and to Alyssa. Yeah, what does him deleting all the accounts have to do? They already said in the video they had already archived all the stuff before he started deleting. In the first minute of the video, and that was his main point for the whole video. Yes, the contradiction in there is kind of weird. I don't think this focuses enough on Grummz, honestly. I'm gonna have to beat up Roxas. The 11-minute one and beat me. A grifter is a con artist, someone who swindles people out of money through fraud. Okay. So it's mainly just a swindler, someone who still swindles money. So that's what I put as a grifter, is someone who like mainly their main reason for what they do. Too bad videos is enough. Yeah, I think we've watched enough on it. And I think that's enough context for now. 46 seconds to go, baby. And I think that's enough context for this situation. I would have to say that 2 wrongs don't make a right. In my, what do you mean sounds like Dell? And I would say that's my opinion on it, is I think Grummz probably did scam a lot of people, and he should finish his fucking game and shut the fuck up if he wants to keep calling himself a game dev. And I do think him stealing from charities and all that other stuff should be taken in consideration, but I don't think harassing people because of disagreements is the answer either, if you can. It's like, the other is a bit delulu, because they're both acting trash towards each other. 4, 3, 2, 1.
In a world of neon lights, till the bunny shines so bright, clumsy hot flood holds her crown, busting sassy folks she's found. Ears perk up a bourbon sight, with a smile she takes the fight. Buns and balls won't break her stride, sharing hearts she won't hide.